Gosh, Jacob, hi. Oh gosh, I don't want to say how are you because it's obvious how you're doing. The Wi-Fi is a little spotty, but I was wondering if you could, you're in Pacific Palisades right now, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm in Pacific Palisades, Katie. Thanks for asking me to do this. It's a tough situation. Always for us in our line of work, these things are awful, and for the communities, they're awful. But this is a double awful for me this time because I grew up here, like born and raised in Pacific Palisades, and I grew up in a house that was a couple blocks away. And so to see scenes like this everywhere you look, it's um, it's much worse than I think anybody could have ever imagined in the Palisades, which, Katie, is it's a vibrant community. LA is a city of neighborhoods, and this is a neighborhood of 23,000 people that live here. I drove down the main stretch. I know you know LA well, Sunset Boulevard, and houses on both sides of the street are gone, like they never existed. The library is gone. Both grocery stores are
You
gone. Doctors'
heard
offices are gone.
high schools have burned down, Jacob. I've heard it.
Yeah.
My daughter lives in Mar Vista and she is in a safe area, but she's been keeping me abreast. She called me last night, and obviously I was concerned about her, but it seems like Pacific Palisades is just a giant hellscape. Have any homes been spared in that area? I mean, or because I know the winds are shifting constantly. I've been hearing that
Constantly.
they're going to really high this morning, which makes it even more difficult for firefighters.
Katie, last night, there were reports that the winds gusted up to 100 miles an hour in LA. And, you asked if there have been any homes spared. It's just by the grace of God, the homes that have been spared, honestly, because you can watch as we're talking to each other. Every couple seconds, the wind shifts directions. And it's one of these Santa Ana wind events that we get a lot here. Those are the winds that come in from the inland and come out to the coast. But this was really a tinderbox, ready to go because of how little rain we've gotten this year after 2 years of pretty steady rain. And I'm gonna see if I can just walk a little bit. You let me know if
Yeah,
the
yeah. I wondered if you
reception
could
gets out.
that would be super helpful, Jacob, if you could even turn your camera around and give
Yeah,
us a
take a
perspective.
look here. Here's yet another house. This is the corner of two streets, Sunset Boulevard and Chautauqua. I mean, just look at this. This mangled steel and everything about this house. I passed this house my whole life, Katie, driving up and down the street in Pacific Palisades, and I don't know how this community recovers from this. It's going to require across the street another house burned to the ground. It's going to require really a whole of government approach. This is going to be maybe a billion or billions of dollars in rebuilding here in a place where who knows if fire insurance works. And there's a lot of questions about how this could have happened, about why there's some fire department officials from the city, about why this got so out of control. But I don't think any of us, certainly not me in my 41 years on planet Earth and as a proud native of Pacific Palisades, but also anyone who's living today and been in Los Angeles. Look, this is Sunset Boulevard, Katie.
Oh,
That house is
wow.
gone. Houses all down Sunset are gone. All the way down into the village in the Palisades, they call it. All these houses on both sides of the street are gone. And let me also say, thank God for these guys. They've been out here overnight. They've been fighting this thing. When it seems like, you know, every 2 seconds, another one's popping up. I'm just looking right now across the street, Katie. Look right there. Looks like another fire is starting to burn. This is the first blue sky we've seen in a long time, even before the sun went down last night. But again, when the winds shift,
Yeah.
it could be a
And
different situation.
Ellie was telling me, Jacob, that she had been reading that because there had been significant rainfall in the last couple of seasons, the area was very lush and the foliage was very full, and as a result it just created even more things that could ignite and start separate fires. And then you have all those palm trees that are kind of shooting like fiery projectile
Yeah.
missiles.
Yeah. Look at this one, Katie. Actually, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a tiny little ember burning in this palm tree right here. And then when these things go up, it's like a matchstick. They just totally incinerate quickly. And when those fronds start falling down, they land on a roof, they land on a car. You can see we're getting a wind gust coming through now. Instantly, look at this tree right here, actually, Katie. these things all explode. Uh, all these all these trees, the beautiful eucalyptus people know. Um, it makes me really sad. It makes me really sad, and I do want to say I know there's a lot of people out there praying for the people here in the Palisades, and I know everybody is very very grateful for everybody's sending their wishes.
Honestly, Jacob, it's just so heartbreaking and devastating for so many people. And I know people were grabbing, photo albums. I talked to people who had to evacuate, who grabbed letters or their kids' bar mitzvah albums. And it's just absolutely heartbreaking. But I want to also talk about these other major fires, Jacob,
Yeah.
because I talked to a friend of mine in Pasadena. And I
Yep.
guess, I guess there are three major fires. For people who don't live in LA, naming the names of the fires don't isn't necessarily helpful. But sorry, can you talk
That's okay.
about where the other fires are?
There's the fire here in the Palisades. There are fires burning out towards Malibu, and then there are fires on the other side of LA County, actually closer to where I live now, in the Altadena area. Which, if people know Pasadena or the Rose Parade, is just beyond. If you're coming from Los Angeles, it's my understanding is there's now a fourth fire. I'm actually just getting a text from my colleagues at NBC News. So this is all it's all going so fast and developing so fast, Katie, that it seems like something new is popping up, almost every minute. I don't want to exaggerate, but it's the nature of this wind. I've heard people say, it's a firestorm before and use that terminology. This is a firestorm. This is a storm that is both being fueled by and fueling just a massive raging inferno that has destroyed at least this one community and is burning in all other corners of LA County. LA City, for people that don't know, is huge. 437 square miles. There's only 4 million people that live in that area, but there's 12 million people that live in the greater Los Angeles region around LA County. And the air looks like this everywhere. I got to go home briefly last night. Trees down in the yard. My kids are out of school today. It's affected everyone all across the LA County area.
And when is the wind expected to die down? Because I guess the wind is the biggest enemy right now. And I know that I've been hearing it's going to get worse before it gets better. Do people know when these Santa Ana winds will subside and make it easier for firefighters?
Hopefully by tonight, Katie,
Ah,
but at least through the day today, they're going to be continuing to blow. And here you go, watch. It just doesn't stop. It's been relentless. And the thing that's been most challenging, I think, is that 1 second it's blowing one way, 1 second it's blowing another way.
do firefighters have enough help? Or people coming in from other parts of California or
Yeah,
even
yes,
other
that's a
parts of
great
the
question.
country?
Thanks for asking. It's what's known as a mutual aid response here. So these guys are Los Angeles. I should get out of the way. These guys are Los Angeles County Fire. Let me just say thank you to these guys.
Yeah,
Thank
please,
you.
please thank them for all of us.
Um, there's Los Angeles County Fire. There is Los Angeles City Fire. There's Cal Fire, which is the state agency, and Governor Newsom has declared a state of emergency. There's Malibu. There's Santa Monica Fire Departments. Those aircraft have been flying over pretty regularly, although in the dark and with the wind and all that smoke, they weren't able to do it. So I would imagine we're going to start to see them pick up again now. And I mean, if there's any hope in all this, there's a little blue sky right there. And it's been a while since we've seen that.
Well, it's just, as you said, it's just absolutely heartbreaking, Jacob. Can I just see if anyone had some questions?
Sure.
Uh, I did. Someone asked if the winds may spread it into Santa Monica.
Santa Monica is in that direction. So down the street here is called Chautauqua, and down at the bottom is Pacific Coast Highway. And if you go due south, Santa Monica is over there. It's the community that abuts Pacific Palisades. But right now, and I'm just saying right now, as of this moment that I'm talking to you, 7:22 Pacific time, Santa Monica is okay. But it's a matter of how far these embers blow. And I think that's part of what fueled this, because in the mountains beyond in the smoke where you can't see right now. And it's with the winds that have blown these embers. It just depends on where they go.
Gosh. And you mentioned Malibu, and I know like this very old restaurant, I think that's been around for decades called the Real Inn,
Yep.
burned down. There are all these beachfront properties along the Pacific Coast Highway, and I know the fires jumped the highway. So did people lose a lot of those beachfront homes in
A
Malibu?
lot of those houses are gone, Katie, and that's another thing. I'm glad you brought this up. You know, I think maybe there's a perception in the Palisades that this is a place where sort of the rich and famous live, and certainly that might be true. But there are a lot of people who have lived here for decades and generations in homes they bought. Um, you know, as I said, decades and decades ago, not for the value that all these homes and places are worth now. When this has become such a place of affluence, this is a real salt of the earth community with people who have lived in these beachy towns by Topanga Canyon. By the bottom of Temescal Canyon, in what's called the flats of the Palisades, the Huntington and the Alphabet Streets, that have been here maybe for 2 or 3 generations, and this is just devastating. It's devastating to people of all walks of life, people who work in this community, people who drive here every day to work here. Those jobs likely are gone temporarily now. Um, I'm thinking of all those people right now.
Well, will insurance pay for a lot of these damages? I imagine that that's going to be a very complicated thing to contend with. And will
We
they
don't know.
reinsure? Will they
We
reinsure, Jacob, if people rebuild?
And that's the thing. It's if there's anybody from the federal government watching us right now, Katie, I know you got a lot of influential viewers out there. This is something that requires. I say this both as a journalist, but also as someone who grew up here, a response on the level of federal government response. I don't know that people are going to be able to pay for this. And like I said, I think this is hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in damage in the middle of LA. And it's not something one municipality, even a big one like LA with a multi-billion-dollar annual budget, can cover. You don't put contingencies for something like this into your plans. So I'm sure FEMA will be on the ground here, and it's only a matter of time. Katie, I just want to let you know they're calling me over. 'Cause you know this better than I do. To
Yeah.
update for the Today Show in about
Yeah,
five
listen.
minutes.
Oh
So
my gosh. Well, I don't want to keep you from your day job, Jacob. Thanks so
thanks.
much for just checking in with us. We really appreciate it. Please be careful. A lot of people are concerned about your
And
physical and emotional health. Make sure you wear a mask when you're not,
I got
because
it
there are
right
a
here,
lot
Katie, just in case.
lots of toxic fumes around, I'm sure. Okay, Jacob, thank you. And thanks
Lots of
everyone
love
for
to you. Thank
listening.
you, Katie. Thanks for
Okay,
having me on.
talk to you soon.
Bye now.
Bye.